Malcolm X, a great human rights activist, once said, "I don't even call it violence when it's in self-defense. I call it intelligence." This intelligence he speaks of is being able to save lives when it's humanly possible. American children between the ages of 5 and 14 years old are 13 times more likely to be killed by guns than children in other industrialized countries. More specifically, there have been 387 school shootings nationwide since 1992. The facts are simple. American schools are not safe enough for students. This is why I, the Affirmative, am firmly resolved that the federal government should provide teachers with a firearm in their classroom. For the purpose of this debate, the topic is defined as providing teachers with guns. My first contention is having guns available to teachers makes for a safer campus. My first contention is having guns available to teachers makes for a safer campus. There are already states who have turned to arming teachers in order to secure their campuses. The first public school district to provide teachers with firearms was Harold Independent School District in Texas. This policy went into effect in 2007, which requires those teachers who carry guns to have the following: a Texas license for a concealed weapon, authorization from the district, and training for crisis management in hostile situations. Since the Sandy Hook incident, other states have also turned to arming their teachers in order to prevent and defend against tragic school shootings. These states include Alabama, Arkansas, South Dakota, and Kansas. Senator Ted Harvey of Colorado is a proponent for arming teachers and is quoted saying, "I don't think schools are safe when there are gun-free zones and criminals are the only people who carry guns. Then the others are sitting ducks and can't defend themselves." His references to a recent school shooting in January of 2014 at a school in Colorado, where an armed school official was able to stop the shooter from continuing harm on his fellow classmates and teachers. In this particular instance, the actions of an armed teacher were essential to saving the lives of those who had not already been harmed, and all this teacher did was show the shooter that he had a way to defend himself and everyone else in the school. Think of how many other lives would be saved if every school could have this same response. My second contention is providing teachers with guns will help boost the American economy. My second contention is providing teachers with guns will help boost the American economy. The United States of America is the largest producer of guns in the world. Not only are American weapons sold internationally, but much of the industry relies on domestic purchases. 47% of Americans admit to having a gun on their property. The gun and ammunition industry rakes in a revenue of $6 billion annually. $5.1 billion in federal taxes are collected from gun purchases. The number of jobs related to the gun industry was 209,750 in 2012, which is an increase of over 30% since 2008. Listen carefully to the next number: 5,459,240. This is the number of firearms that were produced in the United States in 2011 alone. 95% of these guns were sold domestically. In short, the gun industry is not going anywhere, and neither are the guns that they are producing. Not only does providing teachers with guns give schools a fighting chance against any of the 47% of Americans with guns, but purchasing these firearms for teachers across the nation would give an economic boost that America needs. Children would be safer at schools, jobs would be created, and Americans could turn a business with negative connotations into a solution to its problems. The harms of the status quo are teachers cannot defend their students, students of all ages are vulnerable to violent threats, and there are situations where police officers cannot get to the school in time to save every life. Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark Jr. admits that simply calling 911 and waiting is no longer your best option. Even law enforcers see that the current state of school security is not safe for students. These harms are inherent because unless teachers are armed, school shooters have no opposition in harming children. Poorer schools are also more susceptible to violence because they cannot afford high quality, if any, security systems. An armed teacher could be the difference between lives lost and lives saved, as in the case previously mentioned from Colorado, where an armed faculty member was able to stop a school shooter from causing more harm. In conclusion, arming teachers is the best and most aggressive solution in protecting students from school shooters. Having firearms available to teachers makes school campuses safer for both students and faculty members. In addition, providing every teacher in the country with a firearm would support the gun industry in America, which would help the country's overall economy. It is for these reasons and more I urge an affirmative vote. I'm now ready for cross-examination.